The dream of most basketball athletes is to one day play at the college level. The thought of showcasing their talents beyond high school, receiving an athletic scholarship, and the possibility of playing in the NCAA tournament are popular goals for talented players. For some, this is nothing more than a pipe dream. For others, it can be a reality that always begins with someone noticing your play. The purpose of this video is to inform, instruct, and broaden the thinking of players looking for ways to get noticed by college coaches, regardless of where they come from. 9 people have been handpicked and interviewed on camera. These interviewees include parents, players, and coaches familiar with the recruitment process from both the high school and college level. Each interviewee will tell their basketball background, advice for potential recruits, as well as their own personal recruitment successes and failures. These interviewees come from both large and small populated areas, and each of their histories is different. This video will explain various tactics available for high school athletes to garner attention from collegiate programs. My hope is for athletes to realize that one tactic will not be successful for everyone, and to realize the numerous and different options available to them. Various questions will be answered such as, what high school years are the most important to the recruitment process? How do I get programs outside of my home state to take notice of me? What tactics do college coaches deem the least successful in getting noticed? And how important is AAU ball in getting recruited? So for those with an interest in playing college basketball, please watch this video and take the advice of those who have personally gone through the recruitment process. Enjoy and thank you.
My name is Josh Fuller. I played at Madison High School in Rexburg, Idaho. After graduating from there, I went on to play at the University of Utah as a redshirt freshman, as a walk-on, preferred walk-on there. I took 2 years off to serve a mission in Chile, and then upon my return, I played my freshman year at Weber State University. And upon the conclusion of that year, I decided to transfer, and I'll be continuing my career in the fall down at Dixie State University in St. George. Okay. The first school to really show interest in me was the College of Southern Idaho, junior college in Twin Falls. I remember getting a letter from them just after the state tournament my junior year. That was kind of where I started to break out and perform really well, and started getting looks from schools. Schools that followed suit were Utah Valley University. Again, I've been at their summer camp every year since my sophomore year. So there was a pretty heavy recruiting process as I was down there in Orem. Southern Utah University did offer a full ride scholarship after an official visit there. The University of San Diego was interested. And the University of Utah and BYU also had me down for a couple of football games, had me down for a couple of unofficial visits. Well, I think the biggest one that we used was we got game film of the 3 state championship games, or the 3 games in the state championship, and we sent those out to universities that I was interested in attending, and also the universities that had shown some interest in me. So honestly, when I think about it, when I think about garnering attention, that's the main tactic that we did use. And obviously things like visits and conversations with coaches over the phone followed suit, but I think that was the biggest thing that we did to try and garner attention.
Awesome.
You know, I do think it was successful. I had a really great state tournament. I averaged 21 points and 10 rebounds in the 3 games, and I really feel like as coaches were able to watch those games and see my style of play and the potential that I had as a college athlete, that's where interest started to pick up. And I guess it started kind of this might be a little bit off topic, but College of Southern Idaho, I remember Jason Vickery was the name of an assistant coach there who attended the state tournament and took notes, watched games. He's the one who sent me that note, and it was from there that everything kind of started. The past head coach at CSI was then an assistant at the University of Utah, and that's how word traveled. And again, as that game film got to the coaches there in Utah, that's where interest really started to pick up.
Awesome.
You know, I'm not, again, I don't feel like being recruited was something that was very important to me, and at the same time, I feel like we didn't use a lot of tactics. I mean, game film was something that we thought would be good to get my name out there. I feel like word kind of spread almost without us trying. Just through that, I mean, through the grapevine, things kind of traveled, and all of a sudden I had so much interest that I didn't really find myself in a need to create more interest, because I was just trying to sift through all of the attention that I was getting at that time. So I don't think there was anything that comes to mind that I was like, oh, that was a big waste of time. We didn't put a whole lot of time into it outside of that game film and whatnot.
Awesome.
You know, I'd never played AAU basketball. My high school team did a lot of stuff during the summer, and I felt like that was great. I felt like that helped us during the school year. But again, that's not really levered or geared towards that. That's the word. It's not really geared towards preparing someone to go on and play at the next level. It's definitely geared towards forming chemistry for the school year and moving pieces and creating chemistry for a high school setting. So it would have been interesting to see how AAU would have played into that, how it would have helped. I also feel like not playing AAU gave me the chance to just go to the gym and really get better as a player. And I mean, a lot of times schedules are pretty demanding with all the different tournaments all over the nation. So not having that gave me the chance to just really fall in love with the game and really enjoy it and not get burnt out and really polish my own game as a player. So those are kind of the two sides of the equation. I look as something that in the end turned out to be a benefit for me. But it would have been interesting to see how the cards would have fallen had I decided to join an AAU team. I think from my experience, what I've learned, my philosophy going out of high school was go big or go home. I wanted to take the biggest offer at the best school and go with that, and see what I could do for myself and see how that would pan out. And I really enjoyed my experience at Utah. I feel like I developed a lot as a player. I did learn a lot. But I think that it's important that athletes realize that it's not so much about getting at the biggest school, at the biggest name, that has the most money in the program and plays on TV most. I think for me, what was most important was finding an experience, finding a school where the values of the coaching staff matched what my values were, where I had good team chemistry with my teammates, and where I could really contribute and continue my basketball career in a meaningful way. For me personally, I'm too competitive to simply be a part of a scout team and simply prep for the starting five so that they can go out and have success. I wanted to be in the driver's seat. I wanted to be a real contributing part of a team. And that's something that I've learned on my journey, and it's taken me a couple different stops to find that. But I'm really grateful that I will have 2 more years to really play. I really believe like Dixie State is going to be a great fit for me, and it's going to be a place where I can finally get that opportunity to contribute in the way that I envision it. So I would pay attention to that, and to really go where the interest is genuine and where there's a clear idea of what your contribution will be. And if you're a competitive guy like me, that's got to be somewhere where you can get out on that hardwood and give it all for your team.
My name is Larissa Knight. I'm from Hagerman High School, and I just graduated this year, and I'm going to be playing on at Western Wyoming Community College. Well, Hagerman is about, I'd say, 700 or 800 people, and that's counting all the outskirts of farms and everything. And in our high school, we have about 100, just with the 4 grades. And my class is around 25, so it's about the average. You definitely just have to get your name out, because being from a small school, they aren't going to hear about you at all. You have to be the one to put your name out there and to get them to recognize you. I definitely used my coach and had her kind of contact them first, and then once she talked with them a little bit, then I felt more comfortable, emailing them and talking to them myself. And after we gave them my basic information, then we asked if they wanted film and all that stuff too. I think mainly just being persistent, because they have a ton going on and they aren't always going to remember, and it's not because they are ignoring you, but you just have to be persistent and constantly update them with how your season's going, what your numbers are, and kind of what you're doing, so then they remember you. Well, there was a point when I didn't have a coach, and so I started doing some of it myself, and that it didn't work as well, of course, because it's better coming from a coach figure than yourself, so that's what I would say. I think I definitely go to more camps, and because a lot of these girls, I started going to camps when I was older, and so a lot of these girls had been going since they're young, and so the coaches already kind of knew them and remembered them, and so that's kind of what I would change, is to start earlier. I'd say don't limit yourselves to only a few schools. Just get your name out there to everyone, because I didn't think I would be going to the place that I am, but I'm glad that I made the choice to get my name out there to a ton of colleges, because it really paid off for me. And I'd say definitely start early. It's never too early to get your name out there.
Okay, my name is Britton Johnson. Grew up in Murray, Utah. Played high school basketball at Murray, Utah. Played college basketball at University of Utah for 4 years. In 1998, my freshman year, played in the national championship. Served a 2-year LDS church mission with the Mormon Church, and then came back and played from 2000 to 2003, or 2001 to 2003 at University of Utah. Played 2 years in the NBA. Orlando Magic, Indiana Pacers, New Orleans Hornets are the 3 teams I played in those 2 years. Was never on a team for a full year, would always play for 3 or 4 months, go to the minor leagues, come back, and so it was kind of a transition between minor leagues, NBA. And then the next following 6 years I played in Europe in different countries: Spain, France, Turkey, Greece 3 years, and then Argentina a year. When I was at Murray High School, I was recruited starting in my junior year, just local schools: BYU, Utah, Weber State, Utah State, Southern Utah. Going into my summer of my senior years, when I started getting recruited by, I would say, almost every college in the country. The big ones like Duke, North Carolina, I would get like 1 letter from, but I think they knew I wasn't coming to their school. And Kentucky, I remember getting 1 letter from, but The big schools that I focused on, that I let focus on me, I guess, as well, was Syracuse, UConn, UCLA, Florida, BYU, Utah. I more or less chose Utah because it was in my backyard. My older brother signed to play there as well. I wanted to play with him. My family and my cousins, we have a big, enormous family here where we're all real close with each other, and a lot of them went to University of Utah. So for me, it was, I think, exciting to play in front of my family, my hometown friends and crowd is what excited me. And Utah was up and coming. So when I went to UConn and Syracuse and talked to Calhoun and Jim Boeheim, they respected the fact that I had Utah in my top 5. Well, the first technique was just being blessed to be tall. I was 6'10" by my senior year. So my junior year, when I was really recruited, I was 6'8", and I played a little bit of point guard and throughout all the other positions to center. But as far as techniques, I didn't do a lot of film. I didn't send films. I didn't ask coaches to come look at me. I think the attention came to me just because of my height and athleticism. But more than anything, I made sure I got on a good AAU team. I left one team to go to another to get recognized more attention. I was on just a local Utah team at first here, but then I left to a team that was called Salt Lake Metro that actually brought in players from different parts of Utah and different parts of even California. So getting on that team took me back east. It got me in LA, it got me in Arizona, in Vegas, and I just think if there was a technique that I did, I would say it was choosing the right team to get more exposure. Number one, don't overdo it. The more tapes you send out of just your highlights, coaches red flag that and they think it's annoying and they'll chuck those tapes. Don't do obnoxious things. I had a dad who showed me a tape he was sending to University of Arizona State for his son to play baseball, and he had his son in the backyard with his shirt off, flexing in the camera, hitting a fake home run, running around bases. And he told me he was going to send that to the coaches, and I about dropped my jaw and passed out and said, all you're doing right now is getting your son X'd from any college. So don't overdo it. Send appropriate film that's like film where there's going to be mistakes, but it's also a good game film where you can really see, as much as you can of the player in good situations and bad situations. Obviously, you want to send more of the good situations, but I would say be active in sending out game films. Number one thing is have a great relationship with your high school coach. Make sure you have the best attitude in the world and you have him on your side, him on your team, because he'll be your best ally.
My name is Jennifer McDonough, and I played basketball at Centennial High School in Boise, Idaho. And then I played at Ricks College for 2 years, and I finished up at Idaho State for 2 more years. My husband played basketball at Ricks College, and that's where we met. And then he played for 2 years at, it was then Albertsons College over in Caldwell, Idaho, and now it's College of Idaho. I am McKay Cannon's mother, and he played basketball in Shelley, Idaho, which is a 3A division. In Idaho we have 5 divisions, and it's sort of the middle school size 3A division. And then he is serving an LDS mission right now for our church, and when he returns he's committed to play basketball at Weber State in Ogden, Utah. He had offers from Idaho State, University of Idaho, Southern Utah, the University of Portland, and University of Santa Barbara, University of Montana, am I forgetting anyone? College of Southern Idaho, and of course Weber State, where he eventually committed to play. You know, we as parents really encouraged him to just go play ball. We really did not do a whole lot. AAU was key for him to get exposure, and he was with a good club team that was really good about showcasing his abilities, and we felt very comfortable with the staff there and the things that they were doing. So we kind of let them do their thing and let his play speak for itself. We would always tell him, don't worry too much about it. If you're good enough to play, you'll have an opportunity to play. They will find you if you're good enough. And so we tried to help him just to concentrate on playing ball, having fun, doing what he loved to do. We did put up a YouTube video, a highlight video. I don't know how much effect that had. I felt really like the AAU was his opportunity to have some exposure and to be seen, you know, playing against the best players around on a stage where coaches could come and see his skills and his abilities. For us, the key was McKay had the opportunity to play with a really good AAU program, and in fact, I don't know that they were nationally known or that type of, but it was a great. They had a good team concept, and they also let the players showcase their abilities, and he had a ball doing it. That was, for him, it was fun. It was a good experience, and I think that's the bottom line, is that they need to be having fun. If they're so stressed and worried about getting recruited, they're not playing well and they're not having fun. They need to just go play ball and have fun. So for him, AAU was awesome, and he had the opportunity to play against some tough competition and to compete. And for him, he just had a love to compete. And so I just think a good AAU team that has the concept that you feel like your child can perform well under, and that will be a good platform for them. And I think it's important if you go the AAU route, and that you select club and coaches that really have the kids' best interest at heart and are. I know McKay's experience was with good men that really seem to care about the kids and want to help them along, and for the right reasons and for the right motivation. I think you have to be careful that way with you know, what clubs you have your child play for. There's not many universities that were coming to Shelley, Idaho to watch games, so it was awesome to be able to go. He did tournaments. His AAU team went to tournaments in Seattle and a big one in Anaheim. I can't remember what it was called, the Big West, or anyways, I can't remember the name of it. And then Las Vegas, they would do a tournament there. Boy, it varied so much, and a lot of it varied. It was a bonus if they were playing against a good team, you know, that it would bring in more coaches. So it just varied so much by who they were playing and what players the coaches were looking at.